Hey YouTube, welcome back to Brad's Bread and Butter. We're so happy you're back with us for another video. And we just want to take a step back today, and we're going to start looking a little bit at the big picture. So we're going to talk a little bit about vision and accomplishing your vision and your goals. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But hey, we're starting a new channel, and so please always like and subscribe. If you can do that, it gives us traction to get going as a new YouTube channel, and that's what helps us get going. So I appreciate your help with that. Thanks so much. And also your comments, man. If you want to see something or hear something, you don't understand something we're talking about, we'd love to see your comments down below too. Thanks a lot for that. So today, what are we going to talk about? Well, we want to talk a little bit about vision and understanding where we're going to go with our investment stuff. And so that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. So we're trying to help you create a community of help. So again, that's why the comments are so helpful, but we want to talk about your financial freedom. And that's where we're going with this channel, to help you to reach the goals that you want to get. So to do that, we want to create a community that's willing to help each other. And here's an interesting statistic that I saw the other day. 42% of Americans say they have absolutely no goal in life. Can you imagine? They live paycheck to paycheck and they have no clue what they want to do. They're just trying to make the month end and pay their bills. But that just makes me laugh because so just think about that. That means that 58% of Americans do, but I went on a little bit further and found that of that, 80% of them only work on their goals for less than 30 days. So that's why I really want to share with you today. It's so important that you have a goal and that we do our best to try and accomplish these things in a timely fashion. And I want to tell you a little bit of a story about me, so you get to know me as well. Now, I am a pilot, and I'm a commercial pilot. I'm an airline pilot, but I had that vision from when I was a little kid. I'll never forget when I was a kid, they took me out to the airport one day, just to the small side of the little single engine piston airplane. And I'll never forget walking around the tail of that airplane to where the door was open. And I looked inside there and I saw all those gauges in the front of the airplane. And I went, wow, whoever can read all those gauges and know how to push all those buttons must be really smart. And so I had a laser focus from that day on to become a pilot. Now, I'm pretty lucky, because even in grade 8, I wrote away to an airline company to say, what do I have to do to become a pilot? What courses do I have to take in high school and college? And, I was laser focused on it. And in fact, I almost had my pilot's license before I had my driver's license. So if you can believe that, at age 16, I was already a private pilot. So I was lucky. I knew what I wanted to do, and I had a laser focus to get there. And believe you me, it wasn't easy. My parents were very poor. They did not help me one penny in my training. And I got all the way through commercial pilot and even into an airline transport pilot because I worked part-time. I worked 2 or 3 jobs. I went to college on my own, and God provided for me, but I had a laser focus on what I wanted to do. So I think that's important, and that's why today we want to talk a little bit about what your goals are. And so I want you to think today about creating a goal for yourself. And it's important for you to put that goal down on paper. And I want you to think about it every day. So we're going to talk about writing down your goals, get them written down and put them somewhere where you can see them. Think about them, when we think about what we're going to do, that's the thing that we focus on. And I think that's the difference sometimes for people who reach their goals and don't. I'm tempted a lot of times just to sit down and watch TV. But I'm pretty happy with where I am, with the exception of my retirement. And that's why we're doing this channel, because I realized I need to get busy again to do that stuff. So the next important thing for developing that plan is to achieve those goals that you put down on paper. So you need to make them measurable. You need to think about how you're going to reach them each week. So make sure that you get them there so you can see them every day. Your goals are going to be like little robots that work tirelessly to create and build your big vision. And so that's how your little goals will grow into the big vision as we move along. So your ability for success quite often is tied to your availability. And so my time and your time are almost the same, but it's the big equalizer. We all get the same amount of time every day. You got to get 8 hours of sleep. You got to eat. You got to go to work. But I'm just wanting you to realize that it's an equalizer. So I'm no different than you. It's just what you choose to do and what I choose to do that make the big difference. So you cannot be a big goal hitter if you don't have a big goal in front. So we want to talk about a goal maker and a goal hitter. So that's what we're talking about today. So imagination is one of the things that I need you to begin with. I want you to begin to create and to develop your imagination and exercise that. Imagination needs exercise. Now, you could exercise about dumb stuff, but I want you to start to focus on what you want to do to begin to retire. And the highest form of believing in yourself is to raise your personal standards. Let me say that again. The highest form of believing in yourself is to begin to raise your personal standards. Now, we need water, air, and food. Those are important things. I understand that. They're necessary for life, but they're not the point of living. Same with paying your bills. We have to pay our bills, but it's not the purpose of life. Life starts after you've paid your bills. And so we want you to have a commitment that always comes with success. But if you ignore those commitments, you'll never reach your success. So we're trying to develop this sense of vision with you as you begin to work on your retirement. Imagine your future, create a goal, design a plan, decide what price you're willing to pay for that plan. Now that's a big thing because I was out learning to fly, working part-time at a local hardware store so that I had money every week to go flying. Other kids were playing sports, going skiing, but I was laser focused on mine. And you have to decide right now that you want to spend some time with your retirement, plan about it, think about the things we want to do. So I'm going to share with you my next big goal. We started this channel. I would like to reach 50,000 subscribers in 2022. I thank everybody who's subscribed already for sharing this video, helping me to reach that goal. So I thank you. I appreciate it so much for you. Now let's just take a minute or sec to talk about how you accomplish your vision, how you accomplish your goals. I don't know if you ever played this game when you were a kid in the car, but imagine if I would give you $1,000 for every yellow car that you saw while you're driving down the road. You would begin to pay attention, wouldn't you? Well, that's how I want you to kind of think about this. And you begin to realize that, hey, maybe there's even one in the parking lot, maybe not on the road, but hey, if I give you $1,000 for every yellow car I see, you're going to tell me about it. And what about if a car isn't quite yellow, it's a little bit orangish? You're going to try and sway things in your favor to go that way, right? So that's what I mean by bringing your thoughts, your situations, and everything, and events in your favor, so that even as you begin to talk about these yellow cars, you realize that, yes, I'm working on my goals. I want to give you a sample of 3 different industries today in which the vision of the CEO made a big difference on the outcome of their industry and what the impact they have on society. Because this is how I kind of want you to see your future. You are the CEO of your future, of your company. So there's a difference between a CEO and an employee. So if you think about it, the CEO has the vision for the big company, and he knows what everybody's doing, and he's maybe not involved in your life as an employee, but he knows what's going on. Whereas an employee, all they want to do is make it through the end of the day, collect their paycheck, and go home. Not too much worried about going to the gym or being healthy, some people. So that's what I'm talking about, right? So let's look at the railroad industry first. You may not know it, but in the 50s and 60s, the railroad industry was making money hand over fist. And they were really thought they were the cat's meow. The trouble is they were really focused on the fact that they were a railroad business, not in the transportation industry. Well, guess what? In the 60s, cars and airplanes began to come online. And if the railroad industry would have understood, instead of making bigger locomotives, dining cars, they would have realized that they should have diversified into making cars and making airplanes, because today the airline industry is huge and the car companies are huge. It's only today where a truck can actually drive onto a railroad car and be delivered across the country and another truck pick it up on the other end. Too late. They missed the boat. The railroad infrastructure, especially here in North America, is not conducive to taking the train. And I would much rather take an airplane for a 2-hour ride than a 6-hour train ride. But that's just an example of a CEO who didn't understand that they were in the transportation business rather than the railroad business. Another industry, food industry, McDonald's. Everybody knows about McDonald's. But in the beginning, they were focused on the wrong thing as well. They thought they were in the hamburger making business. But it was only after the new CEO came along and realized that they were actually in the real estate business that McDonald's began to explode. They had a CEO with a great vision, and he implemented that vision, and now you see a McDonald's on every corner. Yes, they still make hamburgers, but again, you ever been in a McDonald's restaurant lately? The employee only cares about giving you your Big Mac. But the CEO of McDonald's, he's more interested in the real estate price of all the McDonald's stores that they have all across the country. A difference between two different CEOs. One is focused on French fries, the other one's focused on the franchise. So that's the difference of two different CEOs who paid attention and one who didn't. Let's look at one more. The auto industry, the chip shortage, really critical today in 2020. COVID-19 hit. In the beginning of 2020, when COVID paralyzed the country, all the automakers like Ford, Toyota, GM, they all stopped making cars. And they went to the chip makers and said, hey, we don't need any chips for a little bit. Can you just slow us down a bit? So all the car companies factories were closed, and their CEOs were like, we just can't spend money now. We got to stop it, except one company. Who do you think that was? Tesla. Tesla did not cancel any of their chip orders. In fact, they fought with the regulators to keep their factories open. And when the chip company was hit so hard with all these cancellations, they had to cut their production by 90%. So they wanted to diversify. They started to approach other smaller clients like gamers and other industries who need chips. And now their second and third tier clients suddenly became their priority. And they were now their number one clients for chip manufacturing. Guess you know where I'm going with this story. Now the COVID's just about over. In a couple of months when the pandemic is up, the companies are now trying to open back up their production. Guess what? Chip makers are busy. And I don't know if you've seen a car lot in the factories lately, but there are cars sitting there that are made collecting rust with no chips to go in these cars because one CEO had the vision to keep going and the others didn't. Only one company set all-time records in the middle of COVID, Tesla, making more production and have more cars because their CEO had a different vision. And this is the cool thing, and you'll hear us talk a bit about Tesla in the days coming forward. It's not a car company, and that CEO knows it. It's a disruptive to the car company society. Tesla is in the technology business. It's also in artificial intelligence, in AI. It has a massive data collection, and they have a supercomputer called Dojo that they are training to gather so that even when a Tesla car drives somewhere and reaches a speed bump, it knows that and sends that information back to its supercomputer so that someday the car will drive by itself. And they know what they're doing, and they are succeeding at it very well. So, what are some of the things that I'm asking you to do today to succeed? First of all, I want you to bring your thoughts into your favor and have your life and believe that it's an obstacle that could either work against you or for you. And if you begin to work on your obstacles and realize that they are your capital for success, you will begin to change. Be available for success. Expose yourself. Have the courage to dream big and to create those dreams. Begin to make small steps toward your dream and to plan for it, and you'll get on with your bigger vision. Only do what is important to you. I know it's tempting to sit down and watch TV, guilty as charged, but you have to keep going with your vision and make sure that you're working on the things that help you get going. Use your gifts. Most people talk only about the obstacles in their life. They never talk about what is the good things that happen. And if you have a great vision, you'll know that getting to understand the things about you is how we get things done and how people who are around you laugh at you and say, what are you doing? But keep it up, keep plugging along, and you'll realize that you're slowly making way to your goals. So I wanted to give you that today as we get into more of our videos to realize where we're coming from, that we understand that to have a good retirement and investment portfolio, you have to have a goal. You have to know where you're going. So I hope that you'll join us again. Thanks again for all of you that hit that like button and that are subscribing to the channel. We appreciate you all. Comment in the comment if you want to see something. If you don't like what I said, please let me know. We'll try and fix it or see what we can do to help you understand where we're coming from. Thanks again, YouTube. Have a great day and keep it in the green. Have a good day.